morning, South Florida, and welcome to the breakfast at the Brooklyn Cafe TV.
Take a deep breath and a good whiff of that coffee brewing. Grab yourself some toast, a donut, or any breakfast as Dawn and Freddie get you up and ready for the rest of the day.
So call in at 888-565-1470 to share a tip of the day.
Or just to say good morning. Shake off your sleepies, buckle in, because it's showtime.
And that was a quick music end. Welcome to the Cafe Brew. The Cafe Brew welcomes you this morning, and it's funny because I'm not used to doing the morning deals still.
We've been doing the morning deal for a few months already.
I know, but we've been doing the midday deal for a few years.
Good morning.
But the morning brew is catching fire.
I have to tell you something. You know what I thought of when you first called it the morning brew, brought to you? You didn't even say brought to you by. We're going to tell you our sponsor in a moment. I was thinking brew like a brewery like beer, and I thought you were doing morning beer. And then I realized in your Freddie vernacular, it was a brew of coffee. So
Coffee brew.
This morning segment brought to you by...
You're funny.
Don Pablo's Coffee Grower and Roasters, home to the Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee. This is our organic blend, our Arabica blend, all put together by Don Pablo Coffee Growers and Roasters. We have it in bean as well as in ground.
That's right. Don Pablo Coffee
actually, look at this bag.
Actually made the bags for us and made the coffee cart that we have in studio, and it comes in bean or ground, and they have flavors.
Well, they've got the bourbon flavor that...
They got more than that.
Do
they got a few, yeah. But the bourbon flavor we have here, we've never tried it.
I was just thinking that. You know, I've got an extra coffee pot that we should try.
I think that we should put bourbon in the pot.
I agree.
And I spoke to him yesterday, and he's been home. So it's funny. You know, life works in very mysterious ways. Mm-hmm. And so I spoke to our rep, Hernan. I spoke to Hernan like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and they were slow and go. They were still selling coffee. And then yesterday I spoke to him. He says, my God, we got bombarded by all these coffee orders because the restaurants and everything else, I guess, are coming back. Miami has not opened. It is opening, I understand, today or tomorrow. And we have a studio down at Don Pablo Studios down in North Miami, which I want to go down there to do a show because we can. and bring in the Miami sound. Now, I wanted to really touch really quick because the Miami sound machine, Gloria Estefan is married to... It's underneath.
You have not had enough yet this morning.
No. Gloria Estefan is married to Miguel Estefan.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Her husband.
His name is not Miguel.
Well, it's Mr. Estefan, whatever his name is. And they did a new retake on the Bob Marley song.
Did they?
Yes. And it is being shown tonight in downtown Miami. That's why I think it opens today. They waited until it opened. And the song is One Love, you know, let's get together.
Oh, nice.
So they changed the words, and there's Latin music in it. And I heard a piece of it on the news today. It is phenomenal.
I wonder if we can find it. If we can find it, maybe we can play 10 seconds?
Tomorrow you'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But I was thinking. Now, I had a gig one time at Coconuts that they own in Miami. And it was called off because of a hurricane. I don't remember which one it was. But I was headed down there to do the deal. The words were changed that we are love and we are one.
One love?
One, yeah, but it's changed. I think it's one nation and we are together or something. They changed the words to it in retrospect for respecting him and giving him credit for it and the song and everything else. But I heard the song this morning. There wasn't a dry eye in the room, including mine. It's an unbelievable take about what's going on. So I want to bring us down to the Miami flavor because Miami... is like
there's nothing like Miami.
Yes, there is. New York City, baby.
New York is New York. Miami is Miami. You can't even really combine the two. They're just separately unto themselves.
I used to be afraid to go down to Miami. I worked in Miami for 5 years.
I lived in Miami for 4 years. 6 years.
I worked at the district, the art district. I was there for 5 years.
Yeah.
I've never seen, and I worked in Manhattan. I ain't never seen anything like Miami. But I want to go down there and take some shows to do what we do, because I think it's time. With everything opening up, I think it's time that we go down there and do a little bit of what we do.
Sandy
craziness.
from Bogota, Colombia says, good morning.
From Bogota.
Bogota. Good morning,
Not
Sandy.
Bogotá. What's the matter with you? What's wrong with your lips?
Good morning, Faith Washington. Good morning, DJ. Bogota.
Hola, ¿cómo estamos en Bogotá? Everything is good. We have some.
Say good morning to California.
California.
I'm just wondering, California, do you sleep?
Never. She sends emails at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to tell you, it's only 12 there. Think about it.
Good morning, I know.
She sleeps from 3 to 6 our time.
I'm telling you.
3 to 6 our time. Okay. Now, I want to also announce that we have a new show coming out today at 2:30. Okay, let's go over the lineup before we do anything else. So, good morning to everybody. Let's go over the lineup.
Of our day?
Yes, we
Okay.
have Slick.
We have Slick Speaks at 10:30. At 11 o'clock, we've got Callaway's Corner. At 11:30, I believe we have Fuego.
We do.
12 o'clock, we have the cafe back on air. And at 2:30, we have a new show addressing mental health in a Hispanic market, and it is going to be called, she just told you,
She told me this long thing. I don't remember. It was long.
in Spanish, so I will pull that up and I'll let you read it.
La mentalidad, which is not what she said, but I'm
That
just
is
going to
not-
make up a
that is
name.
not what
'cause
she said at all.
I'm gonna make up a name because I'm excited about it. I was listening to everything else she's going to do on the show. The name slipped by me.
She's from Forward Thinking, Maria Acuna, and she'll be doing her own show today at 2:30. And at 1 o'clock, we've got a great show lined up because we've got real estate. We've got Sandra joining us, talking about real estate. And the real estate market is booming during this pandemic, is what she's told us. She has sold, you're not even going to believe me if I tell you, but let's just say multiple tens of millions of dollars of homes have been sold in the past 60 days.
She said over 35 million.
Yes.
So what's the problem? It's the truth.
It is the truth.
I looked it up. It's more than that.
Her team has sold 35 million.
Yes, but it's more than that.
Her team of 7 women has sold over $35 million worth of homes in the past 60 days during this pandemic.
And they
So
are
she's
heavy
going to be
hitters.
joining us. She wants to get the word out that it is there. There are homes available. And the interesting thing I didn't realize is people who are not going on vacation, and this is what we talked about with the artists.
That's right.
People who have that high-end lifestyle, and they have money because they are not going on vacation right now. They are not going to Europe. They are not traveling. They're now buying second homes in Florida because they want to get out of the Northeast. And here they come, which is pretty spectacular.
And it's really brilliant if you think about it. If you live in Michigan, where they had those
Yeah.
floods,
Michigan.
They had floods. They had 2 dams that broke, that were inspected and failed. And those dams broke, and now we got all these people. All these people got to live somewhere else. You ain't going to live up there. Can you imagine if they had gotten that kind of deal with snow and all that water, and then you got the virus? My heart just reaches out for them. But they were warned that those dams weren't safe. And, like I keep saying, bad planning gives bad results. And that's what happened. But anyway, moving on, I want to say good morning to the crew. I'm going to let them scamper around to get some microphones. You got your mics ready? You see? You hear that?
Click, click,
Yeah.
click,
Click,
click.
click, click.
Say good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. And Jared, everyone says good morning. Good morning to my mom. She's
to
up
the mic.
bright and early. And Dad, everyone's up and watching. Dad's got to go get for some tests this morning, so they're up and at 'em.
How do you know your mother's watching? You see?
Because she said good morning. Mom says good morning, she says.
I have come to the conclusion, to the final light conclusion, that love from a mother and love from a father are worlds apart. Worlds apart.
Why?
Because a mother carries the child,
Yes.
and a man only envies to know how that feels.
No, you do. I don't
Hold
think most
on.
men do.
Oh, yeah, they're all lying. They're all lying.
They don't even think about it.
They're lying. That's what you think. Men work twice as hard to try to gain that feel, which is a good thing. It's supposed to be that way.
Is that it?
That's what it is. So you're lucky because I see how your father wrote, I think, 20 messages on there. Very intelligent man. I hear he's going to be working with Daphne. and
I'm
everything
really
else.
excited about that, actually, because, my dad is...
Marcus
We
Welby.
used to always tease my dad that he was like the geek from the geeks. If there was a pocket on his shirt, there were like 10 pens in it and a few folded up pieces of paper. But such a smart man, and when it comes to medicine, like one of the best diagnosticians of children and medical diseases and what's going on. So he called Daphne yesterday because he found a supplement that he was really interested in, and he showed it to me over the weekend. And I sent it to Daphne, and she says, absolutely. I sent it to our pharmacist, Faith Washington, who went, yeah, that's a spectacular supplement. Everyone should be on it. So I guess people listen to our show, even though we don't realize they're listening to our show, right?
3 people.
And he said, I'm going to buy it. I said, okay, great. And then he texted me yesterday. He said, but I only want to buy what Daphne recommends. So this was as we were going on share for our show on our 12 o'clock hour. So I gave him Daphne's number, and he spoke to her for a very long time. And she actually sent me some of what she recommends. I got it in the mail yesterday. And they're going to be working together. She's going to help them with some CoQ10 and some things to combat the side effects of statins, like you do, and some other things that we've known for years that Daphne is spectacular. And he says to me, I think it's time to have Daphne back on your show. So yes, Daphne Solomon from Daphne's Vitamin Concepts will be joining us again next week.
Maybe Marcus Welby can get her to come because we've asked her for 4 years.
I know, right? So we can do like a whole medical health segment.
A whole medical.
Dad knows best? Father knows best?
Father
Wait, wasn't that done before?
The show, Father Knows Best. But it's amazing because you never know the people that you're going to affect with some of the things
And
that
when.
go on. Now, I saw that Jordana Foster from Ready, Set, Go Beyond was now talking about the health of flowers. And coincidence, maybe, but we had the House of
Patricia Dutch Designs.
House of Flowers.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw that deal. I also saw another company talking about what Wayne does at Dignity Memorial. It was a different company, and it's a different, not in our network, but I saw them that picking up that as well. You know, the object of the game here, this is not business versus health. You gotta get this straight. Opening up businesses doesn't mean people are ready to come out. It's the psychology. It's what we talked about yesterday. It's about you got to get in people's heads to let them know you feel safe. Now all of a sudden the news is showing what people are doing to open up businesses. How they're wearing gloves or not wearing gloves. Is it good or is it bad? A lot of controversy on
I
that.
just saw now that the CDC is saying that it may not be as spreadable based on contact as it is highly transmittable through humans, person to person versus surfaces. But then the World Health Organization says, no, not so much. So there's this controversy. And again, all I say, in my opinion, is use common sense. Disinfect, sanitize, wash your hands, which is what they're still saying, everyone's saying, but you got to just be careful and be prudent.
And it depends on what's going on. I saw Cuomo. Did you see Cuomo and his brother?
No.
Oh, you got to see this. Cuomo went and he got swabbed.
Well, his brother, right? They all had it in his
he
house.
went and he got swabbed, right? So his brother comes in. Him and his brother have this thing, and they're blowing up New York with it. So his brother comes on with this huge cotton ball swab, and he says, I heard that when they put this in your nose, and he holds it up in the camera, and Cuomo's dying, Andrew's dying because his brother's making fun with this huge swab. And then he takes out one of those things that you wash your back with. The thing is the size of a melon. He says, and when they took it out, this came out. I was dying. But now they're saying that the cloth mask may not be a good thing.
Well, I had a whole reaction to that yesterday, so you tell me what they're saying, and I'll tell you how I feel.
Well, this is what they're saying. Number one, cloth material seems to hold more carbon dioxide.
Okay.
And it seems that if you're not used to wearing a mask, it takes sometimes months, and you start feeling lethargic, tired. Tired, and you sort of get a burning in your throat and your nose. Too. And if you're not careful, you will get an infection in your nose and think that you have the virus because you're not going to feel well, simply because the mask, if you wear it on for prolonged periods of time, that's what happens. So they are suggesting if you can wash the mask or the material you're wearing. I see kids wearing shirts. You got to wash it.
I've been washing mine every night, but that's kind of how I've been feeling.
Okay, so in your case, they would suggest that you go out for at least 15 minutes, take off the mask outside, and breathe in air. And still, you may feel a little...
Because if anyone's going to feel something that they put out there, it's going to be me. I went to the dentist yesterday, right? Because here's my feeling on what you do in life. You and I talk the talk. We have to walk the walk. We have to walk in faith always. And so I went to the dentist yesterday, and I was kind of not unsure whether I was going to go or not. It was just a routine cleaning. But I went because I have faith in my dentist that everything is done and sanitized the right way. So I said to the hygienist, what have you done differently? 'Cause she says, well, in dental offices, we have such hygiene protocols that we have to keep sanitized. For us, she said, it wasn't really a whole lot different. They had to upgrade their mask to the N95 instead of the surgical mask. She has to wear, like, it looks like a paper gown, but it's non-porous, so nothing goes through it, even though it looks like it. Poor thing, she said it was so hot, she was sweating by the time, 30 minutes she was done cleaning. She said it was so hot, they spray it down with Cavicide, I guess is a disinfectant. There's one machine they can't use because it has to have like a high-powered evacuator, this water machine that goes through. So everything has to be done by hand, which is like scratching your fingers on the chalkboard for 35 minutes. Ugh. Anyway, I think I'd rather go to the gynecologist than the dentist. But anyway, I got through it, and I said, what's changed? She said, nothing, really, because they have such a high level of protocols anyway in doctors' offices and dentist offices that have to be cleaned. It's just a little bit more cleaning, and it's their guard, so she had a shield on, and it was quite safe, and everything was easy and done, and she sprays everything down, and they're getting a fogger. So I'm going to find out about this fogger. Kind of, I wonder if it's like Lynette's, and they put whatever chemicals in it, and they fog
We
the
have
corners
it.
and everything.
Yeah.
We just need the stuff to go in it.
To go in it. And we need to place it so that it fogs correct.
Exactly.
It goes to show you,
It's the fear that we're all living in.
but then think about that. Are you going to go to the dentist and have him work on your mouth?
If you have to. I
What-
mean, I went yesterday just for
So
cleaning.
you must have really good confidence that your dentist does things correctly. If the restaurants follow that advice, did you see that the CDC's advice manual is 183 pages long?
Do you know that people's attention span is about 83 words?
Seconds. So the U.S. government lowered it down to 6 pages, and people are still complaining it's too long.
Yep.
That's the reason why we're having a fight with the WHO organization, which Trump now has threatened to leave it altogether. You got to understand, Cuomo said that among our Hispanic and Latino community, our minority community, COVID is still running rampant in New York. And the reason is, and I don't mean any disrespect with this because I know you're going to laugh at me, Hispanics, traditionally, like Italians, live among themselves. In my building, when I was growing up, in the apartment complex, we had 20 apartments of family, uncles, because, 14 to 13, it's a lot of uncles and
In one apartment?
no, in the building.
Oh, okay.
But in that building, in my mother's house, her 5 brothers and sisters, 10 of them, stay with us at one time or another. And this is what happens among Hispanic cultures. You got a lot of people living with you. And this is what happens is when they got to go to work and they don't follow protocol or it's just not clean or whatever, they bring home whatever they bring home. And that's why it's running rampant. And you got to understand the Hispanic culture. They think that if one person doesn't get it, that nobody else in the family is going to get it. It's a lack of education and understanding, and it's a lack of understanding because when you have 20 people in a house, you got to get some jobs.
Yeah.
You need a job, so everybody goes out and they come back.
How many bathrooms?
Sometimes they'll have 1, and sometimes they'll have 3. Yeah. In my mother's house, we had 1 bathroom on Popham Avenue, and we had 6 bedrooms.
You had
1
6
bathroom.
bedrooms and 1 bathroom?
Yeah.
And how many people?
At times there was, it was 5 of us, sometimes 8 people, 9 people.
And your mom and your dad and your sister
No,
and,
included. 9 people at one time, 10 people,
and 1 bathroom?
and 1 bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny because when my father came home, he got the bathroom because he worked the longest. So if you had to do your business, you better do it before he gets home, or you have to do it afterwards. And then everybody took a shower either before he got home or after because they were in the construction business.
Wow.
And everybody, I can imagine, 9 of us in there, and they all went out to work. If my father came home, he got 9 people sick. That's what's happening right now. And unfortunately, we had to educate what's going on. Just because he doesn't have it in your house doesn't mean you can't bring it home. Now, tell me the deal again because I get confused with the mask. When I wear the mask, who am I protecting, you or me?
Me.
Teddy, what do you think? Am I protecting you
That's
or
what
me?
they say. I disagree, but the theys say that if you wear a mask, you are protecting me.
That's not what I heard.
That's why I have a kind of a, what do you guys think?
I think it's kind of both.
I
Like you're
agree.
protecting yourself from droplets, but you're protecting other people by not making them breathing your air droplets.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's both. But I can tell you, by me wearing a mask, last time my allergies were through the roof. It was like, it was
Well,
ridiculous.
that's what you went through last night,
Yeah.
the allergies, yeah. And I woke up this morning sneezing like a banshee. Now, this morning I saw that they tested a monkey, a specific type of monkey, which is very close to us. As a matter of fact, they say that's where we came from. And the good news is if you've had the virus, you're immune to it. They don't quote me on this. I mean, you can because somebody said it. They don't have proof of it yet, but it seems like all the evidence is pointing in that direction, which is fantastic news.
Yes.
If it's true. Then those of us who have not gotten it have to be extra careful, because those that have had it, once they find out that they're immune to it, then you're going to see the old habits happen.
So we'll see what happens with that.
That's right. So I would keep that a secret.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing over in the studio over there? Way over there?
We're doing good.
Who's running board?
I am.
And that would be...
Valerie.
That is Miss Valerie.
And we've got Jared there. He's watching. He walks a mile to get to work.
I know he's got to bring another shirt because he says, "Do I look silly?" I go, "No, you look sweaty."
But we've got a great crew. Our crew is spectacular. We have a terrific lineup coming to you today from the AMP Media Production Studios. It is growing. I'm telling you, yesterday, my phone has been blowing up. We've got some new shows that want to come forward. So a gentleman texted me. He's friends with JJ. And we're going to talk to him today. And he says he wants Monday and Fridays, 2 hours each day on radio. So we're going to give him a call and see. And it was too late for me to figure out what he wanted, when he wanted it. But he wants to do a talk show. He wants to bring some music forward. He wants to reach their demographic, which is, I'm assuming, around JJ's age. JJ is graduating in December from FSU and thinking about going to law school. She's writing a book. She's writing her life story, which is pretty spectacular. And she said, our support means so much to her. And I said, of course, we want a copy. And anything that we can always do for Jasula is what is spectacular. I can't say child anymore, a young woman. I think back to when we met her 4 years ago. And she sat in that studio, and we picked her up. You picked her up, and you brought her up to iHeart. And she just sat, she sang, she told her story when you met her at church.
No, I did not invite her to iHeart.
She was up there with us.
I went to church. And
after that, then
I met her
yes.
at church, and then I went to studio to tell you about this fantastic young woman that I had met and her story, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't even get the words out, and she walks in because somebody from the ADL, I believe, invited her that same Monday.
It's crazy.
And I said, "What are you doing here?" She says, "What are you doing here?" And that's what started this whole thing.
Was that the craziest story? You came in that Monday morning. You went to church on Sunday, and you said, I met this young girl whose story, not a dry eye on her story from Haiti. And I remember looking at you, because I didn't even know you that long, and I said to you, and how do you think she's going to come here? Did you give her your number? You said, no. Did you meet her? No. You said, but I want to bring her in. I said, and how do you think she's going to find you and walk in the door? And that morning, I had set up the Anti-Defamation League, their No Place for Hate group, to come. And Amanda Dawes walked in with who? But JJ, with Jasula Jano.
It's funny, you asking me how I was going to bring her in, and you brought her in without knowing.
And she looked at you, and you looked at her, and you had just had this conversation with me, and in they walked that morning. And ever since then, she has been a true friend to the show. She is the most spectacular young woman now. Her story is amazing. And she's graduating FSU with a full scholarship. She had a full scholarship to Harvard. And she went to FSU instead, and she's getting ready to go to law school. Can you believe that?
And well, that child's story is, she's going to be involved in Congress. Watch, we talked about that. But that whole story, it just inspires, because off of that launch, off of that story, we ended up doing the internship program. And some of the kids that have come in here, we're approaching over 450 that we've done.
I want you to know I've got 2 more that are going to start working with us.
I'll take them all.
Can you imagine getting 5 new in crew in the past 2 weeks?
That's because they're all out of school.
It's amazing to me, but yeah.
But it goes to show you the inspiration that you and your daughter put together. I'll never forget the first time that you put that thing together and the kids started coming in. That first crew that came in, I was floored. But it all originated from meeting JJ. A few weeks later, I went to church and they asked me to say something about JJ, not in one mass, but both. I had to stay there the whole day in both masses. And then there were other people from other organizations that wanted to reach out to her. So I just want to verify something. You know, we do this program in Boca Raton, Florida. But our reach is not just Boca Raton, Florida. If you want to do radio in New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, we have an affiliation there.
I got a call on that yesterday, too.
Well,
And then I got a call from JJ.
We have an affiliation in Atlanta. We have an affiliation in Philly. We have affiliations in California, Texas. Just because you use the studio here doesn't mean that you cannot be heard or seen in those radio stations, TV stations, or a combination of both, including, did you hear the latest? There's a meeting going on in the UK tomorrow. Apparently, that's going to be a touchdown because they're headed out to the rest of Europe. And you guys saw the banner. This is the time, because I believe it's time to expand. We are going to go into Radio Europe. And this could be a little interesting.
You know what I'm really excited about? Marketing companies are reaching out to us. And this is the best part of my conversation yesterday. They said to me, can we please keep the marketing component to ourselves and we don't cross? And I said, that is the most spectacular news, because we are not a marketing company. We are a production company.
Production, yeah.
And for us to need marketing for a client means we have to look for marketing companies. So the marketing is all yours. We'll do the production. And he was so happy. Now, this is a relationship that we haven't spoken to these people in 4 years. And he said, I have not seen you since that conference that you and I hosted on regenerative medicine. And that was spectacular. And they are doing some really, really great things in that area as well. The P-shot, the E-shot, all of these things, again, that cost extra money, but his clients are up in the Northeast, and he knows it's a perfect synergy, because what happens? We have the real estate lady coming because people from the Northeast are buying homes here, second homes. So again, it's this, what do you call it, the snowbird effect? It's the back and forth up this Northeast-Southeast corridor that it's really one.
Yes. And it's funny because I've done shows with that same formula you're talking about. Sarah Spiritual was up north. She was in Atlanta. She's picked up clients from there. Dr. Pinozzo, I don't know if he's alive still, he's the one that taught me that the Snowbird Corridor piece is in full effect. Because you want your business, when they go up north, even though that's not happening this year, they go up north, you want them to continue to follow and talk about what you're doing to improve the community. It's all about giving back to the community and being heard. But our platform does not stop in Florida. Our demographic goes from young to old. We produce over 35 shows a month. And we're looking to grow more. I want to go into Miami. The only reason I didn't go into Miami is we didn't have enough hands.
Now we got a lot of hands.
And now we have a lot of hands. So you know something? We're coming, baby. So be on the lookout.
So someone else, Ted, remember I was asking you about Dina, that I hadn't heard from her? I got an email from her yesterday.
Really?
She'll be back in either tomorrow or next week, yes.
That's the lady who had the funky hat.
Yes, remember that?
Yes.
So she's going to be back in also. So I'm telling you, and I want to say, and I hesitate to say this, but you were right.
And what did I do now?
The work ethic that you have to those wee hours in the morning when you finally tell me to put my feet up is 100% coming to fruition. So as we've worked and we've done and we quarantined and we worked some more and we've pushed our crew, and they're spectacular, and we grow in our crew and we push them, the message is being heard, and businesses are growing, and the economy is picking up. There's, I think, $50 million being allocated in Boca Raton for small business, 25 for less than 25 employees, and 25 million for over 25 employees.
We should get somebody from the city of Boca on, just to clarify and let us know what the procedure is and when it's coming out.
Absolutely. So
I think that'd be really cool.
A lot of things and all of that. I got an email about that from Vice Mayor Bob Weinroth, so I'm going to try and reach out to him
Let's
again.
see if he'll come
I
on
reached
again.
out to him on Sunday. I'm going to see if I can do it during the week and see if we can get that.
Absolutely.
But
He's
yes.
always welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you know, on Friday we have a special show here. We're going to have some mixed bag of shells. I got Steve from Gubba Rum. Gubba Rum is going to come on. He's going to talk a little bit there. And we're supposed to have some kind of funkiness going on here with some rums. Are we doing that on Friday?
Sangria, actually. What
Sangria?
I love about Mia, she's coming in today to record her first show at 12 o'clock. I asked her about making sangria, and she says, oh, that is my favorite. And her list of ingredients, mine is like red wine and fruit. Oh, not Mia, because, Mia's got, like, she pours 8 fingers in an 8-finger pour in one
Yeah,
drink.
we have to watch her.
red wine, Chambord. She needs simple syrup. She puts all these alcohols in. So
I can't afford that.
I can't afford me a
I
sangria.
can't. Mia, we are in reopening stage, so we're gonna cut everything
She's
down
like a
into
bottle
one,
of Chambord.
one ingredient.
I'm like, really? Anyway, so she's going to come in today. We're going to talk about that for
Okay.
tomorrow.
And also, you have the book, the author.
Yes, we've got Amy Minty joining us tomorrow.
I can't read the book.
For better or for money, and we're going to talk about all of these. Michelle Spears is joining us
And then
because
Michelle Spears, you let this.
but nobody knows what Michelle does yet.
Michelle Spears is going to join us. We'll tell you, what's today, Thursday? And we can hint it a little bit. You don't want to miss this
It's a
show
great
tomorrow.
weekend segue into Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, I'm guaranteeing you. Guarantee. I have your paper and pen ready because that show is hot, hot, hot. I can't even read this book because I'm singed. My fingers are on fire.
Let's take a quick commercial break. I don't even know what time it is. When we come back, more with our Brooklyn Cafe Morning Drive, Morning Pajama Time, brought to you by Don Pablo Coffee Growers and Roasters, home to our very own Brooklyn Cafe show, Coffee. To get your coffee, all you have to do is let us know, and we will ship a bag out to you. Give us a call at 888-994-4995, and we will be right back.
At Carmen Care Advanced Laser Therapy, our professional team specializes in finding the best alternative laser therapy treatments for your painful conditions. Do you suffer with chronic pain, a post-traumatic injury, or simply looking for the benefits of cell rejuvenation to the skin? Schedule a consultation today to understand how photobiomodulation can help reduce your symptoms, reduce or even eliminate pain. Give us a call today, 561-405-9577. We focus on treating you who has a disease, not a disease that defines who you are. Contact Carmen Care Laser Therapy today, 561-405-9577 or carmencarelaser.com.
The way you live your life says a lot about you. The way you choose to commemorate your lifetime can say even more. It's a single event that speaks volumes. So how do you celebrate a life? Dignity Memorial providers believe that your memorial service should be as unique as you are, reflecting your personality and your passions. It should be a perfectly tailored send-off, a fitting tribute for family and friends to celebrate the person they love. We're professionals at catering to your every need, right down to the catering. In fact, no detail is too small. So when it comes time for a fitting tribute, we'll see that your final wishes are beautifully fulfilled. It's what Dignity Memorial providers are known for. And why you should rely on us to see that your life is well celebrated. The celebration of a lifetime begins here.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff, your branding specialist with Promo Stuff For You. So we're entering the new year. By now everybody has gotten their corporate gift, so this time of year generally is quiet with the exception of marketing departments trying to figure out what they're going to do for 2020. So it's really important that a company figures out and does proper planning throughout the year as to what type of marketing they want to do. At Promo Stuff For You, I love being able to sit down with a client and figuring exactly what they want to do, when they want to do it, and time it with the various events that they might have coming up.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
And we are back.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Tell me.
I there's a product that I wanted to order, and they wouldn't tell me what their procedure was for ordering.
Really?
So I went ahead and says, okay, you have to sign some paperwork, which I didn't sign, and now they're harassing me for the payment, which I haven't made the order, so how can there be?
People are just trying, I think, to get orders processed.
Yeah, but first of all, I wanted to know if they were going to take half a payment and a half a payment, right? Because it's a product that they have to make and bring back. That wasn't the deal, apparently. So then I said, okay, I'll let you know when I'm interested, when I have the money. And then now they're harassing me for payment. If I didn't sign it, obviously it means I'm not ready to buy it. I don't get it. But what's going on with the psychology of, now they're going to twist my arm and say outstanding payment is due? Really?
Not you. No one's twisting your arm.
No, I mean, they're going to twist their own arm. Anyway.
Valerie and Teddy, how are you guys doing?
Staying awake.
Now, the funny thing is I don't know what that means, but the funny thing is the two of you did a show together on...
Yesterday.
Yes, on Teddy Unscripted. And I couldn't hear it because I was unfortunately either on the phone, because Dawn set up a couple of meetings and then left. And I couldn't hear the
I did
essence
it again
of
to you today, by the
Yeah,
way.
you did it again today. She gives me her phone and then walks away. Can you give me a synopsis real quick of what the two of you talked about?
Yeah, so we were talking about the state of, at this point in quarantine, birth rates are down, but there's a lot higher rate of people moving in with their significant others because they're realizing, at least at the beginning of quarantine, they started to realize that they wouldn't be able to see them, so they kind of did a temporary move-in, which has turned to a permanent move-in. And just about the different dynamic of that, seeing as, is it going to change? Because we thought it would all boost the birth rate up, and it absolutely flattened it. We're at like 32% lower than we ever have been.
So what does that tell you?
It tells, I don't know, that's what we were talking about how people are being together in their apartments. Maybe it was a too soon thing, and about, the general society of when is too soon to actually move in with your partner. Is there too soon? How every relationship is different from two different sides of it.
So, in other words, it's business, not love.
How did you do that?
Huh?
How did you twist that around to its business?
Well, let me tell you why.
Please, share.
The reason that people are getting together, you just said, is because it's less expensive, right? 2 apartments as opposed to 1. Will you agree on that?
No, because if they'd be in quarantine, they wouldn't get to see each other.
Well, that's the love side.
Yes.
The business side is 2 people get together, they only have 1 rent to pay instead of 2.
Maybe you need a bigger place.
Listen, you can color this any which way you want. That's the business. Now, you ever have a piece of cake and you see it and you love it and you taste it and it tastes like caca? Ever happened to you?
Because it looks better than it actually
That's
is.
right.
I mean, the grass is greener and it isn't always.
And there it is. And then Teddy says, and I'm twisting it. I'm not twisting it. I'm just saying the truth. What's happening is relationships don't know what a relationship is until you go through it. And I'm not talking about 15 minutes. I'm talking about years. If you're going to domicile, is that the word? Domicile?
Okay.
Domicile with somebody who you just met maybe a year ago, or half a year, 6 months. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Under the most adverse conditions on the history of this planet, you better have it put together. That's all I'm saying.
The funny thing is you are so consistent about whenever someone gets engaged, you say, my condolences.
My condolences.
Whenever someone says they're getting married, you say, you may want to rethink that, come back to me in 6 months or a year or 2 months. We have a friend of ours who just got engaged.
My condolences.
And you said, my condolences to them as well.
But it isn't that I want to be...
You are so not the marrying type.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's that I get a feel that growth changes us. You could be 21... Listen, I got married at 21. I got divorced by 25. I got married at 26, got divorced by, I don't know, whatever it was. Okay? So I've been down the path, and I understand relationships. I understand that the business side of a relationship is going to dictate your emotions. And you may not want to, listen, you can scream at me, may not want to agree with me. Every married guy is going to look at his wife and say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But that look to the other spouse is telling you, I'm telling you the truth, and they know it. You got to work 12 jobs. It's tough to come home and be papi chulo.
Who wants to be Papi Chulo? I just want to put my feet up and take a Benadryl and go to bed.
Well, there you go. That's fine.
That was last time, like, feet up, Benadryl in, out for the night. And this is, who has time to do it all?
Well, you have to do it all.
It's funny. I remember when I got married, I said to my mom, I don't understand why people don't wear sexy nightgowns and why they wear pajamas and T-shirts. And she says, one day you will understand, Mom. I completely understand.
Moms know. And it's true because parents know. They've been down the grind.
I completely understand. You change your clothes, you take a shower, and you just roll right into bed.
And it takes a very special couple to keep that going. Now, I've met people who have been able to sustain that for a long time. Long time. You know, my parents were married for 68 years. And I asked my father, Dad, what is the secret to staying married to Mom? And he says to me, he looks around. First, he looked around, you know, because he
See
wants
if
to
Mom was there.
make sure Mom ain't nowhere near it. And he goes, huh? I go, Dad, I repeated the question. Huh? I said, Dad, don't you have an answer for me? I'm giving you the answer. Huh? And I go, what the hell does that mean? He says, you just nod and say, okay.
Did your parents share a bed or have two?
No, they shared a bed.
See, each of my grandparents, my dad's parents shared a bed. My mom's parents had separate beds.
What?
I'm telling you, they had separate beds.
Say that again.
They had separate beds in the bedroom.
Why? And you know, I saw that on like the movies and
Yes,
stuff.
on one of the TV shows. My mom's parents had separate beds. And you know what? I guess it was big enough to do what they needed to do, and then they went to sleep at night in their own beds.
Do you know, that's actually probably a better situation than sleeping in one bed.
I think so.
Because if you sleep in separate beds, there's always the adventure. You know, you can get dressed up like a pirate and say, I'm going to go conquer the world.
What are you, Peter Pan? I'm thinking separate bedrooms. I'm thinking as we redefine things now, after you're married a certain amount of time, you should have separate bedrooms. You
Why
can
don't
have
you
the
just get
adventure-
separate houses,
You can have the
Dawn? What is
adventure in
that?
one room, and then everyone gets to go to sleep because you toss, you turn, no one's sleeping, you get hot, you get cold. It's like all these things that change in your 50s.
Teddy.
And you really just want to get some sleep.
Teddy, you see your future and it ain't bright.
Teddy looks at me, she sees her mother, she goes, yeah, I understand that.
Teddy sees her future. I tell you, people change. Now, do you know that people change? My mother used to tell me, it's like, they used to call it a Victrola, a record player. And you know, I had knobs in the day. You know what a knob is, right? You
The thing you turn, yes.
Yeah. And
I
every
know what a
day,
knob is.
you had to turn the knob to get the right adjustment. And it's a lot of work.
I never understood why that was. Like if you tune in your radio, why would it not be the same frequency when you turn it on the next day? Why do you have to always adjust those knobs?
Because the frequency goes through the air and the atmosphere is different. The Earth changes its orbital deal. And, you know, when the sun comes down, there's what they call sundowning on radio. AM radio has sundowning. So at 6 o'clock, the signal gets weaker. And before 6 o'clock, the signals are powerful. So they took only 100 years to come to the realization that you hook up an
Is
FM,
it really called
AM.
sundowning?
Yeah.
You know what I think of sundowning is?
Drive-by.
No, you get creeped out over drive-by. Sundowning to me is when an elderly person is in the hospital and at night, I guess after 6 o'clock, I guess that's where it comes from. They get confused.
I have day drowning. I get confused all the time.
When the sun goes down, which I guess hence the name sundowning, they get confused. Elderly
How is it
people in the
that you-
hospital.
you
My
take-
brain thinks
you
like
take things like to another orbit.
I don't know why. Why do I like try to analyze
Teddy.
everything?
Teddy, look at your future. It ain't bright.
It's so sad. Teddy's here with us late tonight because tonight we've got the 2-minute warning with Benny Blades with some new
Yes.
players.
Yes.
The young guys that we met at the event back in January.
You know, the player that he had to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, Samuel Asante, last week,
Okay.
was one of my favorite players for the Eagles. And I don't like the Eagles, but I respected his caliber of play
Yeah.
because he was clean, man, but he can hit, and he was interesting. It was an interesting part to doing this. And I wanted to ask that show, I would like to play some highlights where he does the interviews.
Okay.
But we need to coordinate with them a little bit better, and because of what's going on in Benny wasn't even available this week because they're opening up the parks, and he's in charge of
So
that.
there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that are changing, but it's really interesting because football is big. Everyone's looking for sports. So last night, remember we had Michelle Olsen-Rogers on yesterday talking about the family meals, and I actually ordered in Bolé. My daughter decided not to move back home yesterday because I was ordering Bolé for dinner. I got to tell you, it's a lot of food for $37.
Yes.
It came in a big tin, lasagna tin, and you pick one protein, you pick, I think, one base, a protein, 2 vegetables, whatever it was. They give you 4 cookies. It was a lot more food than if we had ordered 3 meals.
How much of it was left over?
Probably enough for lunch, for one,
For
in
one.
my family, because I eat a lot.
Okay. I mean, that works for you.
So $37 versus $12 a bowl, and everyone finishing it, same amount of money, but you got more food. And then she sent me, wait till you see, do you eat Italian food?
All the time.
All right, so she sent me the family meal from Jimmy C's. She's going to connect us today. You get to pick 1 pasta, 2 main dishes, $24.99. Oh my gosh. She said, beyond spectacular. They're in East Boca. She said the only caveat is you have to pick it up before 5, but there is free delivery in East Boca with a $15 minimum. So I'm thinking maybe we bring them on, we do a little piece with them. They're right up at 3500 Federal Highway, which is right up the street from us and Tracy. And we do a little spot with them, like chicken parm, meatballs, baked ziti, eggplant parm, eggplant rollatini. I always order eggplant because I think it's healthier. Once you deep fry eggplant, it's still deep fried.
It's just as
something.
healthy as everything else. You know,
Exactly.
you should have her do a segment Monday through Friday, a 5-minute or 3-minute segment on the restaurant of the day. And then we can reach out to them. We do some business. We'll include her in there. I think it'll be fun.
So that's what I'm thinking of.
She has a finger on the pulse on that bad boy.
So restaurant of the day is Jimmy C's. Restaurant of yesterday was Bolé, so check out their family meals. I never knew Bolé had a family deal.
I never knew it either. I've eaten there. Linda loves Bolé. I never really liked it too much, and then I found a combination that
What
they
combination do you like?
do. It's been such a long time.
But we did chicken, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, because they were so busy. They were so busy because the restaurant's open and they're still doing their takeout. So kudos to them for still doing both.
And it's
They ran
healthy.
out of potatoes.
And they're very healthy.
And they did the cilantro noodles, which really aren't noodles. I think they're the glass
Yeah,
noodles.
I've had those.
So everyone's very happy. And then, of course, you get 4 chocolate chip cookies. I was on the non-cookie thing. I made it through 2 days.
Well, that's pretty good.
I got Monday and Tuesday without cookies, back on cookies. Yesterday, and guess who we have coming on a 12 o'clock show today?
Afraid to ask?
Home Baked. They are the former owners
that's
of another
right.
bakery up in Delray, and he's joining us on the 12 o'clock segment.
That was funny because when we were at the other place, we took a tour of that place on Atlantic that he had. And he called it Willy Wonka Land. And we played with that for like a day or two after we did that tour. And we're talking to him on the phone. And when he said that, we knew exactly who he was because we didn't know who we were through this whole thing. And now he's gone down a different path. He's right by Barlow Monks.
Yep.
And he didn't know that.
So he's going to be joining us on the 12 o'clock show. We've got a lot of things going on, so I guess my cookie hiatus is no hiatus anymore, and I'm back to eating cookies again today. But their cookies, their baked goods are amazing. They're
You gotta
wholesale.
have vegan
and
cookies.
it's not whether it's vegan or not. It's the sugar. It's the all that other stuff.
Yeah, but vegan cookie doesn't have any of that stuff.
Really?
They use natural ingredients.
Really? And how many calories in a vegan cookie?
Well, it has a few calories, but a cookie in general has a calorie anyway.
That's what I'm saying. A cookie's a cookie. You know, I used to eat. I always would get the kids muffins for breakfast because I was not always the healthiest feeding of my children. You know those Costco muffins, which are always so good, the chocolate, and those are like Aaron's favorite. My dad said to me one day, "Why don't you just give the kids some chocolate cake?" And I said, "Dad, I can't give my kids chocolate cake for breakfast." He said, "And what do you think a muffin is?"
It's
Pretty
cake.
much a cake in another shape. It's the same exact
But
thing,
he's right.
100% right. It's just, as you always say, it's how you package it and how you deliver it.
It's all about the delivery. Now, you had 2 chocolate chip cookies. They were the big ones?
They're about that big.
No, you got to get the big. You ever seen the big chocolate chips? Linda brought 2 of them they were given to her. You take 2 of those bad boys, right? And you take a scoopful of ice cream. You put it as a chocolate chip sandwich.
Slick, I got to talk to you.
Yeah, but
Never-
don't do it now. Don't
Your
do it now.
chocolate chip sandwich?
Yes. Don't listen to her. Chocolate chip sandwich, right? And then you take and you put syrup on top of it. Ask your mother if she ever had a chocolate chip sandwich with vanilla ice cream.
Really? And I know she's going to tell you yes, because we used to buy them in my house all the time. They were called Chipwiches.
That's right. Chipwich was on the Good Humor truck or Mr. Softy in
We
New
would
York.
always have the Chipwiches in our refrigerator. Oh my goodness, yes. 100%.
That is the best of the best. There is nothing better for breakfast than that.
So my house, they will do that. So I don't buy a whole lot of ice cream anymore because I will eat it. I only buy the little ones. So when Aaron comes over, my son loves to cook and create things. He'll take these 2 big chocolate chip cookies. He will find whatever Dove ice cream I have, and he melts it just a little bit to put inside of this ice cream cookie sandwich.
That's right.
And that is exactly what Aaron does.
That is the best. And we talked about what to do on the Ritz, remember? The creation of who
Yep.
wins. Maybe we bring that back with Jen G. Maybe we'll do your own Ritz creation.
Create your own Ritz.
Yeah.
Your own creation on a Ritz.
Your only creation on the Ritz. We should have done that when we were staying home because we had more people staying home. And I know there's a lot of people not staying home now because it is a madhouse to drive.
You think so?
My God, they're going by me at 100 miles an hour on streets here. I guess everybody got to go wherever they got to go.
So Slick, I get a text today from Slick. Good news, bad news. Bad news is, and it's my problem because I skim things. I don't always pay attention to details. Bad news on the COVID case is how he starts off a text. Now, it's a segment he's putting together. So instead of saying bad news on my COVID segment, bad news on the COVID case, and I'm thinking rapidly from this to this to this to this.
You thought he had
Then I go
COVID.
down to the good news. Yes. It wasn't a bad news that he has COVID, thank goodness. Everyone, he is fine and his family is fine. He's working on a segment he has not finished yet. So, again, your eloquent words, you must have learned that from Freddie's delivery on how to text somebody.
But you learned how to get her attention, right?
You got my attention very quickly.
That's exactly the way it's supposed to be delivered. Now, Slick, I got some good news for you. Valerie, is it Valerie? Has a friend who's a barber. Hey,
Yes.
Valerie, is it you, Valerie?
It's too late. We're
All right, let me
revealing
see
the
what you
hair.
got.
We're revealing the head today.
You cut your hair?
Yes, it was me.
Wow, it's looking
Slick,
nice.
not for nothing, but I could have done that. I could have done that with a butter knife.
No, you needed a 3 fade apparently.
No. Hey, listen, I would have
That's
put a
a
mask
zero?
on to cut your 0.
Is that a 0, Slick?
Yeah. 2 or 3?
A 0 all the way around. A 0 until 1.5. And what did that 0 to 1.5 cost you?
About $5? 35?
35.
I
Oh,
would have
okay.
done it for $5.
We're gonna get Freddie the Floby. The experience was a nice
is that what it
experience.
is? He talked to you about when you were a child. He gave you that whole story.
You're gonna fill us in on Slick Speaks. You're going to do the reveal of the haircut.
I'm going to tell you, Slick. I know somebody who has an old barber chair in his house.
Want to put that in here too?
And I want to put it in here
You are so my mother.
and have Slick do the barber chair segment.
I wanted to do that with you. I wanted you to just zoop all of it off.
Zip. No.
Did the curls? No,
No.
nothing. You're gonna
I
keep
do.
them.
Yeah, you cut your hair.
I cut my own hair. It's growing. It'll
They
grow.
asked me if you were having a civil moment. I said, probably.
No, I cut my hair the first time during all this, and I thought, oh, it looks pretty good. So then I did it the second time, and not
Not so good no more.
But it'll grow. The beautiful thing about hair is it does grow back. Well,
I know.
on
I
most
can.
of
I can
us.
tell that you're dropping
As
your
I'm,
hair.
I'm shedding here.
You're dropping your hair all over the place. All right.
And it'll grow. The beauty of a vacuum. We got a lot coming up, though. We got Slick Speaks joining us at 10:30 and Callaway's Corner at 11. Fuego at 11:30. Back to the Brooklyn Cafe with some cookies and real estate. A lot of things going on. Then I think we've got our faith show, Truth and Faith,
Yes.
at 3:30, and
Hopefully that comes to fruition.
and Benny Blades tonight. And
Now, we got a couple of minutes here. I wanna touch base. Hey, Slick, get the studio ready for your show. I wanna touch base a little bit because people have been writing to me and texting to me. Are we bringing people into the studio? And I just want to clear up this point. There are being done 1, 2 max at a time. The reason is we want to establish our crew first and get them ready, and there are some things in place that we have to do to make sure that when you come in here to do it, we're doing it right. Because it isn't money versus health. Health is going to win that fight all the time.
Always.
So Ken, which I love you, Ken, this is coming from the Mushman, he does a spectacular show And he wants to do it in studio because that's what we set out to do, and we're going to get there. But I asked him not to do it this week, to do it next week, because I got to get a crew in play, and I want to use the same crew on those particular sets. Now, the reason that we're opening up the network to do back-to-backs is because I'm keeping an eye on what comes in, who's coming in, where do we place them, because the guests do not all sit waiting to be interviewed in one place. We don't do that. We have plenty of chairs here all over the place, and if I got to put them outside because there are too many, we will do that as well. So to answer your question is, we're coming back. We are going to be inviting people to come down. We have some coming tomorrow, maybe even some today, yes?
Yes.
But we are separating them because we want to make sure that the environment is safe.
But we're really only doing one at a time. So there'll be a guest at 12 and they leave, and we have a guest coming at 1 and they leave. We have a guest at 2:30 and they leave. So
But the leave part is the tricky part because a lot of people don't want to leave.
especially after Mia makes her
Well, that's a whole different.
you got a haircut too? Oh, okay.
Everybody, no, now we don't need no more haircuts.
See, that's
Oh,
just
Jared.
Jared.
Jared needs a haircut. Jared, wasn't there a commercial? Just ask Jared.
That's a jeweler, but yeah, we can bring them in also.
We're going to make a show called Just Ask Jared.
I like that. You got it.
I have an idea. But I just wanted to bring that out and point that out to you. But yes, we are going to open where we're going to, I think it's the number is 10, no more than 10 people right now is what they're looking for. We usually don't do that unless it was a seminar anyway. So we are going to advise you as we go along.
And if you want to try our Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, give us a call or send us a text, 888-994-4995. You can also find Don Pablo Coffee at your local Costco. You can also go to Don Pablo Coffee Growers and Roasters, and they can private label for you, which they did for us. They created this spectacular bag. I was actually thinking we probably need to do some new pictures because these are from our old studio, but
I like it.
I love this. It's kind of OG, and they have been truly spectacular. They've been a great friend to us for, gosh, almost 2 years already. We've had
Do
this
you
coffee.
know that Darren helps many companies start out?
I'd like to bring him up here and kind of get an idea on the startup.
He's going to send us a rep because I think Darren actually traveled to China and all that because he's opening up the coffee and all that. So he wants to make sure that
He's safe.
he's safe and not to, move around a little bit. He's going to wait a couple of weeks more. He's been tested a few times. He just wants to be on the safe side. And I don't expect anything less from him.
Don Pablo Coffee Growers and Roasters. I'm telling you, the most incredible company. They do the little Nespressos, and they are biodegradable. So the cups that you don't have to throw away, recycle, they actually are turned into compost, which is amazing. And they're really environmentally safe and friendly and really, really right in our hometown. So it's hometown, it's local business, but it's not. It's international business.
International
So
business.
more of what we get to do and share with you, all of our viewers and listeners. So have a great morning, everyone. Stay safe. Be kind to each other, please. Watch where you're driving. There are kids out on the streets, and we will see you at 10:30 for Slick Speaks.
Keep going, grow and go, and don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. Well, see you next time.